Speaker. So I'm pleased to be able to rise in second reading and comment on the proposals that appear under the government's Bill 26, Traffic Safety Amendment Act 2011, which sounds so innocuous considering the amount of to-do that is going to come out of this bill. And I just want to say from the outset that I really hope that I hear some of the government people on this, because I know they always say, oh, we've already discussed this and made our decision, and that's why we don't say anything when it's in front of us. But as a result, I get your constituents writing to me going, why did so-and-so do blah, blah, blah? And I have to say, I have no idea, because they didn't debate. So, you know, what does Rocky Mountain House think about this, or Calgary McKay, or Drayton Valley, or Leduc, or Edmonton Mill, the other one, Ellerslie, or oh, this is, boy, these seating plans change so fast, or the yeah, well, yeah, okay, fair enough. But, you know, what does the member for Calgary Lougheed tell his own constituents about how he, well, you're switching back and forth here, about how he feels about this bill? So I really do hope that we hear from those members and others in this debate, even given the speed at which the government House Leader would like us to clip along with this bill. But you know, you guys should be on the record with this one. So let's hear you. I want to go back and start from the beginning. So this bill actually is bookended by two pretty good ideas, which I suspect a lot of people are not aware of if they haven't actually read the Act. But there's actually, the government talked about four things they were going to change here. One of them is not in this Act at all, and I gather is going to come from the regs. And that was the one about restricting the number or changing the number of passengers that young drivers or learner drivers or whatever they call them, who are not family members, how many other people they were allowed to have in the car. And I gathered that they're going to do that through regs, because I don't think it's in the Act. And that, I think, is a stellar suggestion, because we do know that having a lot of kids together in a car, and I can speak from experience, you know, you do egg each other on and get to doing some stupid things and some stunting or talking and distractions from the road. So good idea to restrict that, although, in fact, it's not appearing with anything to do with this bill. What we do have in the bill is new administrative penalties around the mandatory alcohol interlocks for a period of time on the vehicles that are to be driven after current automatic suspensions are connected to the criminal code convictions for driving over .08. Good idea. Good move. You've done that well. Glad to see it in the bill. There's also talk in the bill about permanent interlocks and drug testing and monitoring that could be required for drivers who have two penalties within 10 years of driving. And in here it's listed as .05. I would be happy to support that if it was .08. But I'm not agreeing with it under .05. So you've got two fairly good things in here, and then this political quagmire that you have created for yourselves here. And a number of times I've heard the language attempting to change the culture used in connection with this bill. You know, trying to get people, well, I guess my question is, what are you trying to change in the culture? You're trying to get people not to drink? You're trying to get decent law-abiding people who have enough to drink that they're over .05 but under .08 not to drink, or people to not drive if they have any alcohol at all in their system. And for that, I would say, okie dokie, then pass that law, because what we have right now is the administrative penalties that are being put in place here. The reason the government has to do administrative penalties is because drinking and driving under .08 is still legal. It's a legal activity. Nothing says that you can't drive, right, under 0.08. So the government doesn't have the flexibility, I would argue, to do this. Oh, he's giving me that look, so he's sure to get up and add something to the conversation. I'm getting that.
He's so lucky.
Yeah. But that's my point, is that if it's criminal code, then there's criminal code sanctions. And criminal code is you can't have a blood alcohol content of 0.08 or above and operate a vehicle. Not to be done. It is determined that judgment is impaired at that point. But I heard some of the talk in the media conferences about, your judgment could be impaired with a blood alcohol content of less than that. Okay, now you're into a very interesting place. Who determines that and how? Because obviously you're not talking about a lot of drinking. You're not talking about a binge drinker here. You really are talking about the difference between 1 or 2 glasses of wine, 1 or 2 or 3 beers. This is not, half sack of beer. This is not a Mickey that you're drinking real quick and, out behind the community league. This is a very small amount of liquor that you are talking about, a very small amount of blood alcohol content difference.